Today we had the great honor of interviewing Denis Vasilevich all the way from Minsk, Belarus. Denis grew up with both parents having a disability. He graduated from the Belarusian State University with a degree in physical training. He works for the Republican Association of Wheelchair Users and tries to improve the lives of individuals with mobility disabilities every day. Recently, he has been working to increase recreational opportunities for individuals with mobility disabilities. Denis is actually up for a Sustainable Development Goal Action Award. And now, let's listen to my conversation with Denis Vasilevich. Denis Vasilevich, welcome to the Trips and Global on Wheels podcast hour. We're so happy to have you join us today.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here with you.
Great. So we're going to kick off the first question with, what or who inspired you to get interested in the disability rights advocacy field?
Actually, I grown up with the people with disability because my mom has a disability and my dad had it as well. So we were living in a kind of nursing home in here in Belarus, and people with all kind of disability around me. And I never saw and never paid attention that they're different, and they were always my friends, and I saw only abilities in them. And for me, they're regular people, but some of the people just need a special approach, and so it's my life, and I live with it, and people are around me are having disability, but they're my friends, they're my colleagues, and they're just just people.
Mm-hmm. And do you mind sharing what kinds of disability your parents have?
Yeah, my mom was born without two hands and two legs, and it was a kind of really, really strange disability for our country and for our doctors. And she was born in 1963, and especially then they didn't know what to do. And when she got pregnant with me, it was like something really, really new here. And they said, "Oh, you cannot do it, and it will be so hard for you. And what are you gonna do with this kid?" And she said, "If God gave me this kid, I will raise him." And my dad he had an injury, so he had amputated two legs. So they're both without, my mom without hands and legs, and my dad was without legs.
I see. So, wow. Um, I think many of our audiences are in America, but I just want to remind them that you're in Minsk, Belarus, right?
Yes, correct.
So thank you for sharing that. So with two parents having disabilities growing up and not seeing disabilities and abilities, but just people, that you love and enjoy hanging out with. Um, as you grew up and interacted with friends who have parents that don't have disabilities, what do you think is different between growing up with parents who have a disability and growing up with parents who don't have a disability?
Uh, you know, I didn't really feel it different because I really, really have an amazing mom because she did the best of the best to raise me up, and I almost didn't feel some difference. But main difference was in inability to get somewhere. If we want to go to the circus, my mom is using a wheelchair. It's so hard to get there. If we are going to the store, we have like stairs in the front of the store. If we are going to school or kindergarten, the two that has so thin doors and stairs and all kind of barriers. My mom couldn't jump with me on like batut, or what do you say, and she doesn't swim
The
in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
she doesn't.
playground or when you're out
Yeah,
playing and
she doesn't swim in
jumping.
a swimming pool, but she was always somewhere beside me. She was always somewhere close, and really, I didn't really feel that I didn't get something, but here's one of the reasons why I am working with people with disability now, because I want to show people abilities, and I want to show people that if you're doing something, think about others a little bit, because you never know what can. So, uh, yeah, you know, not so much that I was missed, because my mom tried to give me everything, and if she couldn't do something, she tried to ask someone else to either help me, either take care of me, either like to take me somewhere. And we've been doing so many stuff together, like going to the parks and circus and all kind of museums, because I knew how to help a person in a wheelchair how to get somewhere.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Sounds like you're very creative. Um,
Yeah.
I totally understand all the challenges that your mom went through, and hence, um, the people closest to you, because I use a wheelchair myself. I'm in a manual wheelchair.
Hmm.
So moving on to, going a little further on your work, what makes you passionate about it? Especially in regards to, creating adaptive sports, outdoor activities.
Hmm. Uh, I was in the USA for a few times, and I was participating in Children of Chernobyl program. And in 2017, I got in Usaid program, Community Connection. So I came to USA and I saw how people are just uh, having fun, and they don't really see a problem that they're disabled. And I went to Sweden and other countries, and I saw all these things are running by little bit in each country. I came home and I said, okay, our people is just sitting home doing nothing, and why not? It's so simple. We need only $5,000 to start it. And I found a small project here in Belarus. It's called the Social Weekend, and they're looking for a small social project. And I applied for it, and I said, "Here's what we need." And this project is, first, it's about sports and active stuff, outdoor stuff. But second is to show our society, to show our people abilities, and how disabled people are active, and they can do the same as we do in everyday life, but in a little bit different way. So when we start to explaining to people, to society, and as they were saying, what are you doing? They having like spinal cord injury, and you want them to water ski. And I said, yes, I want them, and they will water ski, because I think uh, they will get so many positive emotions, and it will show you that he's available more than you and me. And so last year we started, and it went really well. And this year we plan to do these activities whole summer, and so many people wants to try it. And we will move on. We will buy more equipment, and now we're thinking about winter sports as well. So yeah, here's how it came.
Wow. I hope when I come to Minsk, when I come to Belarus, I'll get to participate in all the cool sports that you've created.
You're always welcome. Yeah, you're
It
always
looked
welcome
like
to come.
it looks like so much fun. I saw a picture of you on a ski. Were you skating or skiing, sitting on the
Yeah, skiing.
skiing? Okay. That looks so fun. So I think it's wonderful that you've created all these different sports for people with disabilities to join, because, you know, like you said, I think since you grew up with individuals with disabilities, and deeply connect with us and know that we're just humans. We're all just humans. We want to have fun, participate in sports,
Sure.
be active, have adventures. And so that's why you're able to go go straight ahead and create these programs, even though others doubted you.
Yeah,
So,
and I will say one more thing about my project. And I when I was creating it and starting it, I said it this project is going to be not only for disabled people. Why? Because I don't want to be disabled people in their own circle. I want them to be part of society. And my main goal is to invite their siblings, their families, their friends, and to see how they do a same thing but different way. And when they're kayaking, for one person is with disabilities on kayak and two friends with him. If they're riding a tubing, they're riding it together. If they're riding a water jet ski, they do it together. So it's so important in project that is not only for disabled people.
I totally agree with you. And that's why this podcast series, I'm not only interviewing wheelchair users, which I've interviewed lots of wheelchair users, but also individuals who are able-bodied and doing this similar work. And I was really happy to see that component of your program. So, yeah, my next question was, why is it so important to include both individuals with and without disabilities in these outdoor programs? Did you want to further elaborate, or you feel
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
answered?
I think that you cannot show and tell about problem because people wants to see what's the problem. Here's the problem is the like shore or beach is not available. Uh, Guys with disability will need help. Uh, they cannot do some things. You need to give them a hand. Second thing that as you said, we're all human. We need to stay in touch together. We need to share fun. We need to share problems. We need to share our happiness, and we need to be together. So here in Belarus is really common because I work so much with people with spinal cord injury, and after the injury, these young guys are sitting home without friends, without communication, and in this case, I'm saying they're like planting. It's like a flower, He's just growing home. And this project is let people come out, show himself, talk to friends, talk to other people with injury, and he gets a chance to find a hobby. He gets a chance to find when you're communicating with everyone, it's just like it's normal. It should be like this, and it helps you to break your disability in your head, because the main thing is the mental thing. When you got over your injury, you live, but just a little bit different.
I wish more people thought like you. And to be honest, I feel like you're more progressive than a lot of Americans, in thinking in this mindset. Again, I think that goes back to you growing up with, with a mom and a dad who had a disability, and that's all you knew for a long time. And and then growing up, you saw the stigma and the discrimination. And so I think from somebody who truly understands it, the approach that you've taken to these programs have been much more thoughtful and effective as well. And so, yeah. So since you are, your academic training is in physical fitness rehabilitation, I wanted to ask you, why is staying fit so important for everyone, but especially so for individuals with disabilities?
Especially if I would say like I work with spinal cord injury, and mostly with spinal cord injury, but it's for everyone. Uh, the physical activity is so important to uh, get to hold your condition in a positive way. It gives you a chance to be more healthy, more happy, more strength. Because here's why: if you want to push a wheelchair, you need to have a strength. If you want to go far in your wheelchair, you want to have a good condition. It's so important that when you're moving, the blood is carrying oxygen, and you have a less chance to get a pressure wounds. And if you're getting pressure wounds, you're out of active life for depends how it's bad, from 3 months till a year. I always say it's so great and cool to go to swimming pool because you feel your body without wheelchair, without crunches, and so many things that it's I'm a sport. I was a sportsman, and for me, all these physical trainings are like you just have to do it. If you want to be healthy, if you want to be strange and happy, if you want to go out, you have to do it. And one more thing, why is sport all kind of sport activity and fitness and stuff? When a person with disability does it, it's motivates other people with disability to do the same because they're looking at them and saying, "Oh, if he can do it, I can do it." And when people seeing my going on subboard on wheelchair, they're like, "Okay, if he's on wheelchair paddling subboard, why shouldn't I try to do it?" And yeah, it's my vision.
Yeah, I think going back to what you were saying before, a lot of it is mental. We don't think things are possible until we see other people doing it or breaking that um, barrier or that level of difficulty, and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna try to reach that because that is what's possible. But then someone else does something else, and then they're like, oh, but that's possible too, so let me try that. You know, and the thing is, we can create our own threshold and our own possibilities. And I think
Hmm.
your programs have taught us that. And you're making waves there in Belarus for people with disabilities, and I think that's wonderful. So I see that you do some work with USAID. How has USAID been helpful in improving the lives of individuals with disabilities there in Belarus?
Uh, Especially for me, I was part of their program, and I am so thankful to USAID because I got a chance after graduating from university, after working a while with people with disability, I got a chance to go to USA and have a new vision of how it works in US. And by coming back, they always support people who was in their programs, and they having small grants that you can apply and create something new here. So I'm always in touch with the American Embassy in USAID program, and it works really good in Belarus, and it helps to a lot of people, and especially to solve a problem with for people with disabilities.
That's great. What sustains you and motivates you to keep making lives better for people with disabilities? Because I know you have a great motivation, your parents and people that you grew up with who also have a disabilities, but what sustains you when things are difficult and when, either government officials or other organizations that don't cooperate and make the progress slow?
Uh, you know, uh, it's not nothing really about government. Uh, we always can say, oh, we have a bad government or something is not working so good and bad medical care. we should start from ourselves. If we want to change the world, we should start from us, from each of us, from little things. And I will tell you from, for example, I work at active rehabilitation camps in Belarus for spinal cord people with spinal cord injury. And once we got a guy, it was year after the injury, and he came so destroyed, so upset, and we started to talk to him. I started to teach him how to pull the pants, and when he reached the goal and he pulled his pants on first time, he said, "Oh, thank you. Now I feel that I'm a person." And this is the best payment for your work. You know, when you know that you changed something for one certain person and he will use it, and the small things, it's a beginning to change his life in the future. And when we had our project, one of my friends, he's became to my friend now. He wrote a tubing, and when we stopped, he said, "It is my best emotions after the injury." And here's what makes me move on: that these small things are uh, pushing me to do more and more and more because I see a result of my work, and I see that people need me, and they're thankful for work that I'm doing, and I just don't want to stop. And I always say, if I will stop, if I will won't do it, who will do it instead of me? So
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think, a lot of us wait for some other person, some other time, but sometimes we just need to, start doing things and taking initiative and making our environment better and, you know, from what we envision in our head. And I think that's great.
yeah, and I will like tell you a little bit about active rehabilitation camps. We borrowed this system and active rehabilitation camps from guys from Sweden, and this program works really good. Why? Because the leaders are at the camp are people with either injury, either disability, and they're teaching and showing by their own experience. And so you see how he does or she does, and you, oh, okay, I have the same injury, and he does it. Why can I not do it? And it works really good. People are getting so inspired, and they see experience of other people, and this method, peer to peer, works really, really good. You don't have to like create something that people are had created many years ago. So
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, how many years have you been doing this kind of work? And during this time, what improvements have you seen in Belarus? During these years that you've been working on disability rights, disability advocacy work.
I would say I've worked since 2012 uh, in our organization, Republican Association of Wheelchair Users, and it's been done a lot of by government, a lot by people. It started to be much easier to go outside. It's much easier to use the public transport, and the parking places are more free than it was before, near of stores, hospitals, and stuff. Uh, New buildings are accessible and available for people with disabilities.
That's great. So, can you tell us more about your SDG program, the award that you were a nominee for? Just give us some more detail and background information.
Yeah, I was nominated to SDG awards with my project, Approach for Healthy Life. And as I told you before, I just want to show other people that together we can create something really interesting and really great for people with disability, and we can include them in our regular life, and we should do this. And I want to show the world that Belarus is a small country with not so high income level, but we're still changing our country, our lives, and mental vision and mental thinking of our society about disabled people. And I call it creative way because if you see it's project about sports and stuff, active, but it's more about to show people that people with disability are same and they can do same stuff, and look at them, inspire, and invite them to your lives. You know, just don't forget about them. And if you're opening a cafe, make them way how to come in. So this award is it's nothing about for me to be like famous or not some individual stuff. It just I want to show and share that we've done something, and we're doing it, and we're open and ready to share what we have done in Belarus, and maybe some countries will see how it works in Belarus and want to do it in their countries. And we're always open to share our knowledges, our experience, because we've really been done a lot. And so we hope this award will, how do you say, will show our government that NGOs are doing and changing a lot inside of the country, and that government needs to be in touch with NGOs and work together, not to split a work, jobs. So yeah, if we will be in final or get something, it will be one more step up for our country.
That's great. Good luck. Um,
Thank
so in terms of one of the last questions I have for you is in regards to physical rehabilitation or some other aspects of the disability advocacy realm, what do you think we as US, as Americans can learn from Belarusians, and what can Belarusians can learn from us? What can you learn from, you know, the progress we've made here in the US as well?
you, I think if I'm correct, you had even a president on wheelchair. Isn't it right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, and you have a little bit more freedom than we do, and I think that Americans should be a little bit more tough to the life, and because they have more abilities, possibilities in everyday life than we are, and they're getting a little bit relaxed. And but we always looking at your open minds. Americans are uh, free to say, free to think, and be themselves. And Americans have a little bit more comfortable lifestyle, I would say, and maybe the medical care in America is and rehabilitation system is a bit better than it's in Belarus, and but we're working on it, and yeah, main it's probably main thing because for me, as I said, it's so hard to say because I don't see uh, I don't see visibility in people. Uh, I see their problems in everyday life, but I cannot even say that we live here so bad. No, 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 no. We work here. We live. We have medical care. Yeah, it's not as good as in the U.S., but we're doing it. Mm, I don't know. Probably it's it.
Yes. So what do you think we can Americans can learn from people or, policies of your country then?
Oh, American have to look at our guys. Uh, how they're pushing a huge wheelchair without any assistance, and how they're going down from fifth floor to go to the store because they live up on the fifth floor. Uh, to be more tough, and don't to be more how do you say to be uh, to taking care of themselves more by themselves, because as I know, like lots of people with disability in America, like having like assistants, personal assistants, and here in Belarus, people don't have it. They're doing on their own, and they're fighting, and they're creating their own ways how to solve a problem. Try to do more things yourself, and try to go out more, and if you want to change something, as I said, start from yourself.
Yeah, no, that's really true with everything. And
Yes.
so I just have one last question for you, even though the last one was supposed to be the last question. Um, what, uh, what, disability rights activists or individuals who are doing this kind of work, disability rights, disability advocacy,
Hmm.
whatnot, do you admire both in Europe and in the US or elsewhere in the world that you really look up to and, follow their example?
Uh, I really fan of Swedish system of social work of disabled rights, rights of disabled people. I'm sorry, of rehabilitation system, of everything. I'm going to Sweden every year, 2 3 times, and they have really good country for to live with a disability, because um, first they see a person and then they see your disability, and it's so great that they're giving equal chance to work, study, having a family, to everyone. And it doesn't there's no matter if you have disability or not. And for me, it's a favorite country.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Dennis, for participating on the podcast today. We appreciate you for your very insightful responses and for this very new perspective. We haven't interviewed anybody from Belarus yet.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here and to talk to you. And it's so good that we have a chance to share our experience and to share our vision. So always welcome.
And now I would love to hear from you. What things have you encountered that you thought was impossible, but later realized it was totally possible? Did you like this video? If so, be sure to share it with your friends and follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and everywhere else. Keep learning new perspectives, keep being inclusive, because it will be better for you and for everyone else. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll catch you on another episode of the Trips and Global on Wheels podcast hour. Bye bye.